Hello, Fáilte. So we had a question in at the irishpaganschool.com from one of our Tua community tribe members who joined the mailing list and asked us the question. This is from Christy. And my question is, can you be a Celtic witch and be atheist? And this is a question that's actually very common, so I thought it would be a good one to answer here on the YouTube. And I do try, we keep a collection of all the questions that come in, and myself and my co-founder at the Irish Pagan School, John, we do try and answer as much as possible. And we do some of that through the Pagan Digest as well, which is our monthly subscription over at the Irish Pagan School. So definitely go and check all of that out if you want to have a look and have your questions answered as well. All the links are below. So we have this question: can you be a Celtic witch and an atheist? And yes is the very short answer. Yes, absolutely you can. So just to kind of break it down a little bit, I do have other videos on this channel, and I do encourage you to go and check them out about what the term Celtic means or what Celtic paganism is. And there is definitely a proclivity towards, within Irish specifically, or Celtic paganism, there is definitely a proclivity towards working with deities, worshipping deities, having relationships with deities, being contracted to deities, being called by gods and goddesses within the Irish or the more generally Celtic pantheon. So Celtic is just a term that, just to very quickly break it down, Celtic is an academic term that was applied first on the, what's known as the 6 Celtic nations now, to just kind of give an umbrella term really for similarities between languages and cultures to a certain extent. But it doesn't mean that all the Celtic nations, so the Celtic nations now would be Ireland, Scotland, the Isle of Man, Cornwall, Wales, and Gaul in France. So those are what are known as the Celtic nations now. And they are very, very different. I mean, what we do here in Ireland, what we have done here in Ireland, is quite different to Gaulish practices or Cornish practices. Our language is very different. There's 2 distinct branches of the language, of the same kind of root language within those, and even within those branches there's many, many twigs. So between dialects and different languages within the system. So the word Celtic is maybe not very useful here. Where I'm going to talk about Irish specifically, because that's what I do. And Irish witchcraft is specifically not really deity related, or certainly doesn't have to be related to any sort of god or goddess, because witchcraft is the practice of magic. And within the native Irish traditions, magic has been practiced by all spiritualities and none through the ages, and is still quite common within the folk tradition. The practice of magic, the charms, the cures, the spells, even if they don't call them that. It's also very common within the Catholic tradition, with the lighting of the candles and the prayers, which they don't call spells, but they actually are, with doing the rounds, with the novenas, with the patterns at the wells, with all sorts of other stuff that's happening, with the healing prayers, with people having the cure, and they might invoke the name of Jesus or Mary or God, or guardian angels, or all those kind of things. But it's kind of added in for flavor, really. The actual practices haven't changed, and the deities are, you can kind of swap them out. Prayer is a slightly different thing, but if it's a cure, a charm, a spell, anything like that within the Irish folk magical tradition, any of the gods or goddesses or none can be used. The magic itself works whether you're asking for outside support or not. And that's the belief. So yeah, like I said, the short answer is yes, you can be a Celtic witch or an Irish witch and be atheist. And you know, you definitely don't have to believe in any particular gods or goddesses for your magic to be effective. When we start getting into paganism, that's where I believe that personally, I believe, now I will definitely get pagans who disagree with me, but for the most part, pagans would believe in some kind of divine source, some kind of representation of divinity. The forms of that vary very, very differently. But so I would say maybe in my belief system, personally, and in my observation of paganism generally, you couldn't be a Celtic or an Irish pagan and be atheist, because paganism is a spirituality. It is a belief in some sort of divine, whatever format that takes. And again, I have loads of resources on this YouTube channel, on my blog, through the Irish Pagan School, even over on elanotter.net. There's a lot of blog posts there as well. So definitely have a look around and you know, and see what's of interest to you. Over on the blogs, a lot of folk magic, folk cures, healing, you know, rituals around festivals, pagan holidays, all that kind of thing, which again may or may not be connected to a god or a goddess, depending on your own personal belief system. Okay, so hopefully, Christy, that has answered your question, and I'll be delighted to take more questions. When you join the mailing list, you have the opportunity to ask a question, and like I said, it gets put into the cycle. Now we get a lot of people joining our mailing list, and we get a lot of those who are asking questions. So unfortunately, we won't be able to answer all of them. But the more questions we get in that are on similar topics, the more we know that that would be, you know, one of our frequently asked questions. So we would definitely pick up on that. Okay, so definitely check out the resources below and make sure that that you're getting all the good stuff, you know, and there's a lot of it free. Some of it's paid, a lot of it free. So make sure that you have as many resources at your disposal as you can. Okay, so thank you very much, Slán go fóill, and I will see you in the next video.